Hello, hello. It's Wednesday, 8th of December 2021, and we are here one more time with Cardiac Radio, reaching out all our friends around the world. And it's nice to share this time with my friends in UK, in Spain, in France. It's nice to have you all here. And today's topic is spirituality for the the new generation. And I hope you enjoy because we have prepared it with very carefully trying to understand the whole picture because we're talking about our future. No, we're talking about tomorrow. But saying this, uh, good evening, my dear Elsa. How are you?
Good evening, Stevan. Good evening, Rodrigo. Welcome, Rodrigo. My dear Silvia, my sister for the long time that we worked together. My dear Charles, it is really a great pleasure to be here with all our audience, brothers and sisters all over the world that will be with us now or later on or tomorrow, whatever. That is great that you all can listen, can exchange ideas, suggestions, and I hope some youngers can come and listen as well, because this talk is for you about spirituality, my dear, beloved youth, young people. Thank you all. Sylvia?
You didn't say anything. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, boa tarde, bom dia. Como sempre, é um grande prazer estar aqui com vocês, dividir esse momento de aprendizado, de paz, principalmente nesse momento que nós estamos esperando, guardando a chegada de Jesus, que os nossos corações se enchem de alegria de pensar nisso, e desejando a todos uma noite boa, tranquila entre todos nós, e muita paz.
Buenas noches, Rodrigo, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, mis amigos. Muchas gracias por la invitación. Es un placer, una alegría estar con vosotros. El tema de hoy, como ha dicho Elsa, muy importante porque es la preparación hacia el futuro, hacia el mundo de regeneración, esta transición por la cual estamos pasando. Y es muy importante hablar de cómo preparamos a estos jóvenes para ayudar en esa transición, ¿no? Entonces, muy bienvenidos a esta live de hoy. Espero que podamos atender a vuestros anseos, vuestras necesidades de comprensión del espiritismo, cómo el espiritismo puede ayudar a los jóvenes en ese sentido. Y muy bienvenidos a todos. Es esto.
Em inglês agora, Rodrigo, por favor.
Okay, so thank you all for joining us to this live. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I think the subject today is very important, as I said in Spanish, because it's the preparation for the future, for the transition to the regeneration world. And I hope we can help you all, especially the youngers, to understand the need of our spiritual consciousness and how we can prepare for that to make this world more peaceful, more solidary, and more fraternal. Thank you.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Kempf, comment allez-vous?
Bonsoir, Monsieur Stevan. Très bien. Bonsoir à tous. Très heureux d'être ici parmi vous de nouveau ce soir. Là, je viens de rentrer d'Espagne, donc voilà, où il y avait un congrès ce week-end, puisque ce sont des jours fériés. Très heureux d'être parmi vous de nouveau ce soir. Et pour parler effectivement un peu des jeunes. J'ai vu beaucoup de jeunes en Espagne, ça m'a bien réchauffé le cœur. Et le sujet d'aujourd'hui arrive vraiment à point. Hello everyone, I'm very happy to be here again with you today. just returning from Spain, where there was a congress in Calpe city, no? in a little bit south of Valencia, or between Valencia and Alicante, where there were a congress, presidential congress. So I didn't have a lot of hope that it would be okay, but it was perfectly okay. The congress happened very smoothly, very interesting talks, and I also met a lot of young people there in the Spiritist movement. I'm extremely happy to see the renewal of the generations, that this young generation is coming, and we are here exactly to help it to take over, because tomorrow it will be their turn. We are already, how to say, shifting out slowly but surely, and opening the space for them to take over and to push the things further. So this is what we will try to talk about a little bit today.
So thank you. And without any delay, let me put here our video from today, and then we will start our wonderful discussion here. Let me put it here and there.
Every effect has a cause. I know, you know.
All of them knew.
It's logical and natural to believe that. But what about the unexplained events? Should we simply follow some belief just to believe in something? It's easy to find the causes of many effects.
If it's wet, it's because it has rained.
If it's cold, it's because winter has come.
Okay, these are silly simplifications, but you're about to see what I mean. Picture this. When a plane crashes and kills hundreds of innocent people, or when a child is born with an incurable disease. Now, a crucial point. One of the most well-known attributes of God is his supreme benignity. Don't you agree? Humanity has always used the words love, justice, goodness as synonymous for God. Can something that is love with a capital L run a world where, for example, a child is born with an incurable disease and will be made to suffer what few days they have left? It's divine will, some would say. We begin now with the concepts of the Spiritist teachings in regards to the law of cause and effect. Every effect has a cause. So we can conclude that if the cause of a suffering is not in the present life, it should be in the past. That is, in previous lives.
Here lies a very important concept: reincarnation.
You will find a link to our episode about reincarnation in the description box.
Going back to the law of cause and effect, we can mention the ancient concept of karma used by Buddhists and Hindus.
What you did in the past reflects in the present.
Right. But the good news is that Spiritism proposes a proactive perspective. It's important to understand the past, to realize the present when we pass through difficult times. But what's more important is to be aware that our decisions today are the ones that will define how our future will be. We are totally responsible for everything that happens now and will happen in our lives. To sow goodness today, it's your decision.
There is perfect balance in the universe.
It's time to discover the spiritual laws. It's time to be free.
In the description box, you will find links to a more profound study. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See ya!
Another wonderful video from our colleagues from Spiritist Academy. It's wonderful to have them with us. So, my friends, let's give my humble and short introduction today for our discussion. We're talking about young people, and young people today like luxury. They are misbehaving, and despite authority, they have no respect to their elders and spend their time talking instead of working. Wait, is not my words. This was written by Socrates. At that time, he said these words. So let's think about, we're talking here for someone before Christ, 300 years before Christ. And we can think, wait, but we did have a lot of wonderful young people. They did fantastic things, things they changed the world, like figures like Siddhartha Gautama, which is Buddha. No, he was a young prince and he left luxury and ostentation and followed his path to the enlightenment, seeking the balance, all these theory, I think the nirvana, all these studies that Buddhism follows. He was also an emissary of Christ, who fought who fought who fought against his temples, his uh, prejudices, his time, in order to reach out their self transformation. And reaching out their self transformation, he helped people at that time, and is still helping, because how many people follows the Buddhist principles. Also in Italy, more specific in the city of Assisi, we have the young Francis. What did he did? He promoted a true revolution in the Catholic system in that time. You know, so he was young. In Brazil, we had Chico Xavier with his books, his consoling letters to the families, to the mothers. Also, Divaldo started young, and they changed the world. They changed the world. Change the world are not meaning change the entire world. I'm mean changing, giving they're sowing seeds. And why today our spiritists, young spiritists, are not following the spiritism? Even their parents are spiritists. Because we have some problems in the examples. Many of us do the leap, forgot the word. Many of us, we are just spiritists, we are just Catholics, we are just Buddhists, we are just Protestants when we are in the church, or when we are in the temple, or when we are in the spirit center. But we need to be spiritists inside and outside, because we are the example for these ones who are coming. And based on that, I like to go to France with my dear friend Charles. And Charles, I'd like to get your comments about question 385 of the Spirits book, when Kardec asked the spirits, the change of person's characters at certain age. So would you mind to give us some enlightenment comments about it, please?
Stevan, thanks for the question. Sure. I mean, we went through it, isn't it? All of us. I remember very well this period of when I was a child, not very young, but let's say since the memory is going to 3-4 years, something like that. And also I remember even a little bit better the period of youth, when I was this entrance in the difficult phase of adolescence, and then contesting the authority of the parents and so on, and also coming out of it a little bit later. And so really it's a phase that is difficult to manage. not very easy. A lot of things to manage. Transformation of the body and affirmation of our own character. Getting independence from the parents and so on. So it's a lot of things to manage in parallel, which is characteristic of this difficult period of that we all went through, and a lot of young people, of course, are still going through right now. And the first thing to consider here is, as a little bit before the question 385 is the question 379, where Kardec is asking, okay, are the spirits of a child as developed as the spirit of an adult? And the answer is very clear. It may be even more involved. Okay, so this means that the spirits, when we are incarnating, we talked about reincarnation in the previous lesson. We saw a little bit about it in the video that we just have seen, marvelously animated by young people. And so the spirit incarnated in a child or in a young people may be a very old spirit, very experienced spirit. So, or which may have good qualities and which may also have defects and problems to be corrected, to be overcome, and to be worked on. So this is the first very basic stuff. And then the second question is 383. Again, a little bit before the one you asked me to comment, where he's asking, okay, but why is it necessary to have this period of childhood, this innocence, these limited faculties, this kindness of the children? And again, the spirits are very explaining things in a very, very good manner. It's, how to say, it's to develop the love of the parents towards the children. Even so, this does not work all the time, because there are some parents which are quite indifferent. So I was really lucky in my life, because my mother and my father, who passed away already, were listening to me from the spiritual world. They were always very good and kind, excellent with me, even so not perfect again. And I must tell that all the advices they gave me when I was younger is something that is at the time maybe did not help immediately, but later on, when I think about some basic characteristic of the education I received from my father and my mother, this helped me a lot, even later, even older than youth, already in the adult phase. And this is exactly explaining the thing. I mean, the advices we receive when we are a child, but not only the advices that you really pointed out, Stevan, the behavior and the example given by our father has a huge influence on us when we are young. And this is somehow, how to say, the seeds are entering quite smoothly without a lot of contents, a lot of, how to say, opposition when we are young in the childhood. And this is also something which is very important. On the other hand, this explains also why, and now I come to this question 385, which is what is the reason for the change that occurs in its character at a certain age, particularly upon leaving adolescence? Is it the spirit that changes? And here comes exactly the answer. It is not the spirit that changes. It's simply because this childhood period with the innocence, with maybe the body still in development, does not have the full capacity. Also in these hormonal changes which are occurring during the youth period, makes that how to say, the spirit is revealing its true nature, and he reveals better who he really was before this present life, and basically who he still really is. And this is exactly the changes that we may see going out of the childhood and entering into adolescence. So it's not a change of the spirit, it's simply, how to say, a change in the physical body that enables the spirit to express, to show in himself in a more transparent and in a more, how to say, there was a word, but I don't remember it. In its true nature, you see, not anymore under this umbrella of childhood, of kindness, of innocence, and so on. And it's exactly one of these difficulties that the youth has to manage. These changes are happening, so the parents are sometimes a little bit surprised. The parents have also some difficulties to manage it. The children also, the young people, they are how to say, they need to how to say, to stress their own personality, which is different from the parents. So that's why there is some conflict of generation, what we call, which is basically the young people are opposing in certain way on the directive and even on the advices the parents are giving. So this is why it's so important to give them in the childhood, because later on in the adolescence it's already much more difficult, because the adolescent is already challenging and opposing and refusing, because he needs to build his own character and his own independence somehow. And these are very, very important factors that are very well explained by psychology nowadays, and which are exactly explaining the reason for these changes that we can see. Okay. So the basic thing here, let me check the time, not to speak too much, is it is not a change in the spirit, it's a revelation of the true nature of the spirit. Okay. And on another hand, in this period, the young people, they do not need, as the child needs, the protection, the assistance, and all this that is coming from the parents, because they are gaining their independence. They may already take initiative, travel alone. They gain in maturity, in autonomy, and that's another very important phase. Okay. So what happens also when this real character of the spirit is revealing? If the spirit before incarnation was good, the spirit of the young will be good as well. If the spirit before the previous incarnation was difficult, the parents may have helped to improve a little bit during the childhood, but probably in the adolescence or in the youth period, it will remain a little bit difficult, you see. And this is just really a natural process. And this process is, in fact, helping, because the duty of the parents is to help the youth, the childs, and the spirits which are incarnating to evolve, to become better, to prepare them for the mission in this life. And there is even one more aspect, the last one I will touch here, because we don't know where these spirits are coming. Sometimes, the spirits which are incarnating on Earth maybe were incarnated on Earth, on a different country, different language, different culture. So they need also some time for adaptation. And it may even be more difficult. They may come from a different planet, where the more evolved than Earth, for instance, where how to say, all these social systems, all the organization of the planet is much, much better than what we see here on the Earth. So imagine the young people coming here on Earth and who needs to face all these imperfect societies that we still have. So this is, again, another difficulty that they need to overcome. But as I told at the beginning, I'm really very happy having seen young people in Spain during this Congress and talked with them, because we had some round table late in the evening, even early in the morning, to discuss with them. And I was really incredibly surprised by the qualities they have, the perspicacity, the intelligence, the discernment they already have. For me, it was really a big revelation, and I'm very happy to see today young people like Greta Thunberg or so many others, which are today challenging us. And this is what we need, to be challenged in order that we can change from this old society with all these inequalities and justice, thanks to all these young people, this new generation coming and pushing us towards a better world, which is this world of regeneration that we are all expecting. So that is what I wanted to comment quickly. Maybe I was too long, so I will shut up now. I hope I have answered your question, Stevan.
Oh, of course you did, my friend. Thank you. It's amazing. It's amazing to have your inputs here. I want to say good night to our friends, Maria Eugenia from Germany. Good to have you here, my dear. Beatriz Gilles, Juan Pablo, Faye, dear Faye. Good to have you here, Faye. Nancy. So, and also I can see here Patrocinio, I can see Lea, Guilherme Diaz. So good to have you all here. Thank you. And following our discussion here, I would like now to go to Spain. Now I can eat some churros in Spain.
Or jamón.
Yeah, or jamón, yeah, jamón, yeah, because I have croissant in France, tea in UK, and now churros and jamón in Spain.
In Spain.
So, my friends, based on what Charles just said to us, how can Spiritism help the young people?
Well, that's a good question, but very important. I think Spiritism can help youngers as well. It can help all other ages, because Spiritism brings us a very good understanding of our existence, and so that we can understand what happened to us and passing through our incarnation, taking the most advantage of that to our progress. But I think a little bit earlier than that, we should understand, because if we want to help, we want to help on something. So, in the one thing I was astonished to hear you saying about what Socrates said 300 years before Christ about what the youth is facing today. So nothing changed, if you see that, isn't it? So I mean, so the word has a material concept of happiness which has been present in all the eras of on earth. But what has changed today? Today we see, how can I say, this material concept of happiness, or this material model of happiness, more exposed. I mean, it's amplified, it's exposure by the social media. So what we see today is that social media is a shop window, let's say this way, for happiness, where everybody should show happiness. So the happiness has never been so demanded as it is today. And this has been amplified by the social media, which is a characteristic of this generation of youth, of the young people. And as a consequence, one of the characteristic which marks this generation, this young generation today, is the existential emptiness. Why? Because this happiness model, or this material happiness model, is not does not bring substance to life. So and it's not how can I say, sustainable. So in the past, the youngers, they were passing through this transformation phase, which Charles has mentioned to us very nicely. So it's a changing phase, very important in your lifetime, incarnated lifetime, let's say this way. This phase brings a lot of changes. So, and the young people, they need to, how can I say, be accepted by the society. So they need to feel accepted. They need to be inserted in the society somehow. And this material model of happiness has been always present, but it was like limited by the circle. I mean the neighborhood or the friendship that the people had. So it was more limited. Today, people from all parts of the world, they are having access to several model of happiness. So I can see someone from in South Africa, like in the Instagram, showing that the person is happy because the person is drinking something in the beach, like having a very nice time. And this need or this model of life needs to be enjoyed, it's putting a lot of pressure on the young people today. And this is causing a lot of this existential emptiness, because this is not accessible for everyone. So not everyone can have like no money to go to the beach, or to have this material model of happiness. And as this is something, and summed with the lack of spiritual consciousness, because one of the characteristics of the society today is that we lost a bit this spiritual consciousness that we had in the past. So, and I can see, for instance, here in Europe, that the youngers, they are not having that contact with God, with the spiritual consciousness, because it's not brought by their parents. And when you get this, how can I say, this material model of happiness, which is very superficial and not accessible to everyone, and if you have the lack of spiritual consciousness, and when a young person feels like it's not supported by the society or by this understanding, a deep understanding of existence, the person lacks the the willingness to live. And that's why we see a lot of suicide among youngers. We see a lot of depression among youngers. So, and this is very serious. And then, of course, we can say, how can Spiritism help this situation? So, first of all, bringing this deeper understanding of our existence. So, knowing that we are immortal spirits, that we are here incarnated to learn, to progress, to cure ourselves, and understanding that the situations we are passing through here, the sufferings we have, and all the things that we are passing through, which are difficult things, and this, uh, 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 let's say, difference in people who are rich, people who are poor. So spiritualism can bring this deep understanding for the young people to understand that the material happiness is not what we are aiming for here. But this is not for youngers only, this is for everyone. The point is not how Spiritism can help those people, it's how Spiritists or how the Spiritist movement can reach out to those young people. How we can adapt ourselves as Spiritists to reach to those young people, to speak their language, or to find there where they are, because that's the good communication style. So we need to communicate, to find the person where the person are, where the person is, and reach this person deeply with our message. And that's the challenge for us as spiritists and for the spiritist movement, how we can do that. The young people, they are not easy, they are not very accessible in this sense, because we are playing against a very strong enemy, which is the social media. And all this concept, this material happiness model. And I think, in my humble opinion, that we are still old-fashioned in our way to approach to the young people. So the young people, they are like, let's say, they are tired of this old-fashioned moralist speech saying that this is wrong or this is right. Or if you do that, you go to hell, and if you do this, you go to heaven. So this is not tying up to their way of thinking of today, and we need to be prepared to tell them, as we saw in the first video we saw today here, that cause and effect law, to show them that it's not that it's bad or wrong, or it's good or bad or anything. It's about cause and consequence. If I do good things, I will collect good consequences. If I do bad things, I will collect bad consequences. This is one thing. And of course, bringing a deeper understanding of God. As it was said also in the video, that this concept is God's God will, so that things happen. This is not tying up to these young people. So we need to be more explaining to them a little bit deeper about suffering, about why we have these social differences, showing the real justice of God, the real or the perfect, let's say, justice, a way that God works with us. This is how we should do. How we do that? Charles mentioned that. So, first of all, as parents, we should give the example. We should act according to our speech, especially if we in the spirit. I'm talking about spiritism. So we who are spiritists, we should act according to spiritism. So we should give more emphasis to the spiritual side of our life and less to the material side of that. And we should put this as an example in all of the things we do. So we cannot tell our children or young people that we should aim for the spiritual evolution or progress if you are still with our mindset to grow in life, aiming for material aspects of it. So this is how we should give as an example to them. And also, of course, we should listen. I see a lot of people today saying, "Oh, the youth today is lost. The youth today is it's very easy for them because in my time, so it was very difficult. We need to work hard." And so, pointing out these differences, every age or every era has its own difficulties. Maybe in the past we had more difficulties in material side, but today the moral side, I mean the psychological side, is much more, it's stronger than in the past. So they are not fighting against the need of having food. Of course, this is present as well, but they are fighting against understanding why they exist. And it's more, how can I say, complicated than working hard to get food. Let's say this way. I think we all had our difficulties in our age when we were younger, and they are having their difficulties today. And if we go to Kardec in Genesis, and if we go to the last chapter of Genesis, where Kardec explains about the transition we are passing through now to the regeneration world. So it said that spirits, there will be a blend now of new spirits coming to help on this transition, and we need to be very alert. We need to be very open to understand those people who are interested on that and give them the tool for doing that. In our spiritist centers, we need to be, let's say, to promote activities which are more like interesting for them, which is more like not that old-fashioned, so I teach you learn. It needs to be more integrated. It needs to be more, how can I say, self participative. the old models we used in the past to teach or to integrate spiritists in our world is not working for the new generation. We need to adapt ourselves as spiritists to reach to them and to give them the message of spiritism in their language, in their communication way. And that's the challenge that we are facing today.
Great. Thank you, Rodrigo. Nice comments.
Thank
Even
you.
here, Guilherme say great talk. Thank you. Also, Guilherme, he put a questions here for us, but Rodrigo, you kind of answered those questions. I just put in the question here. If you if you have any comments or want to add something. The questions are: does spiritism attract the attention of young people nowadays? What did we think when we were young? Do we give opportunities to new generations to will promote the regeneration of the planet? So, if you want to add something, please feel free.
Yeah, it's really challenging this because I remember when I was young, you know. So my mother was Spiritist already, so I know Spiritism since I was 13. I went to the Spiritist center with her, but I just accepted, let's say, Spiritism to transform my life like some years back. So during that phase, it's a very difficult phase. But one thing that I had was always my mother uh, ready to say something or to give me the seed that created in me now the need or the way back. I mean, I could remember when I was passing through some difficulties that I could remember that my mother saying something, and then I picked that up and I could, let's say, bring it back the spiritism, and it came strong to me. I mean, during this young phase, it's very difficult for them, especially today with this social media, for them to be interested in spiritism, especially because today the spiritual concept is being like they have a prejudice against that. So we are like crazy people talking about crazy things. So it's very challenging. I think what we should do is to give them the opportunity to bring things in the social media, to bring things explaining them on their language, and for them to be interested on that and to be available once they are interested to look for answers, that we are able to do that. I think that's how I see it. And I think we give opportunity to them, but sometimes the opportunities we give are not prepared for them. That's why I said we need to be prepared to work on changing our working style in the spiritist centers to give them what they need in their language with the way they feel interested on. I would say something because we had a young lady who was a medium. So the lady was, I think, 18 at that time. She was passing a very difficult time leading with the mediumship. So it was like flourishing, and she was not knowing how to deal with that. And one of the questions that we received from this lady when we explained her why mediumship was for, what she should do with that. So what's the aim of that? And she asked me, but Rodrigo, can I have a normal life with being a medium? And I said my question to her was, what do you consider normal life? Because of course she was thinking, oh, being a medium, can I still drink with my friends? Can I just go out and having parties or everything? So I said the point is that once you understand deeply spiritism, you understand what is normal for you. Because the normal today is not, it doesn't necessarily mean something good. But I said, once you study and once you learn, you understand what is normal, what will be good for you and normal for you. And sometimes by understanding the cause and consequence, you understand that you cannot do certain things because it will bring in bad consequences to you. I think that's the kind of conversations we should have with the young people to attract them and to explain them, especially the lay of cause and consequence. And by the way, of course, consequently, the reincarnation concept, because it's also something that I see a lot of young people not accepting that, as well as they do not accept God, the existence of God, which is even worse.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Silvia, my dear, just following the comments from Rodrigo, my question to you is regarding to mediumship. And how to explain mediumship to these young people, and how to, let's say, educate them to not let this mediumship interfere in their decision making.
Wow. Well, that's a very complex question, isn't it?
Okay, I just say you have 5 minutes.
No. I'm not saying that, I guess, a question of time. I'm just it is a complex question, because where would this idea come from to the young people? Would it be that they have mediumship, and like Rodrigo was just saying, he had someone who came to him, she was 18, she was having difficulties because of her mediumship. So would it be someone that would come to us for that question, because they felt things, and how would we explain to them? And I think the what Rodrigo just said was a very good way of dealing with it, because to actually take the question to her, what do you consider a normal life to you? Because it must be, if the young person is actually asking a question to us, either they are in a movement and they understand and they know about it, or they are going through that themselves. And I think that's what the explanation, many of the points that Rodrigo said today is one of the problems I think that we have with young people. We try to tell them things, we try to explain them. And I think Charles pointed out as well that many of the young people now, they have already this innate knowledge, because some of them have a lot more knowledge than we had when we were first, because they're more advanced spirits. So I think we have to deal with this in accordance to what they're asking us, to explain to them about mediumship. That's a natural phenomenon, that we are all mediums, and some people maybe have a more developed mediumship than others, and they are more ostensively mediums, but in reality we are all mediums. So in one way or another we'll go through certain things in our lives. And I mean, we know that children are very open, and almost every child have an experience. They see spirits, they have secret friends, some children who have a more ostensive mediumship, they will see people, but to them is natural. And I think that's one of the things, if we're dealing with children, with people, with young people, is a natural phenomenon. Just explain to them that's part of our life, is inherent in all of us, and try to sort out what they are going through. And I think most especially to listen to them. I think one of the things to deal with people, young people, is not and I think one of the things they resent is the fact that we don't listen to them, because we think we have more knowledge, we know more, or we have more experience, and we underestimate sometimes them, instead of listen to them and seeing what they want to tell us, what they want to learn from us, and answer in accordance with what their needs are. And I think that that's one of the things I thought was very interesting, that what Rodrigo said, that he actually put the question back to this girl, what do you consider life? And I think that's a very good way of dealing with young people, giving a question back and letting them tell us what they feel, what they understand. And I think in a way, we know that some people will have a more ostensive mediumship than others. Most children will grow out of it. But those who don't, how do we not let them interfere with their decisions? And I think this is almost impossible to do, because if they have that inherent thing, the nature of it, they will be, the decisions they will make will sort of balance and be part of some things that they are themselves. And I think just listen to them and try to answer the questions to them as objectively and as clearly as possible. And, giving back to them and say, what do you feel about that? And let them tell us, and then try to, in answering, filling the gaps that maybe they have, and that they will listen to us. Because I think one of the problems, you're quoting Socrates to 2300 centuries ago, and was like, someone was saying this now. It's always, and I mean, we all young ones, we're not born old. We heard this in our own lives. All of us said, oh, young people now. We all been through this experience, and I wish we could learn from that. How did we feel when someone is saying, "Oh, you young people don't know anybody, any better?" And I think we should learn from that and allow them to say what they feel and to explain to us and to try to fill the gaps of what maybe is lacking in them, or indicate books and things that they can read. Now they have so much access to knowledge. Before, we used to go to libraries and things, and now just pick up the phone and they have all the information in the world their reach. So I think to deal with young people is not underestimate them and give them the value that they have and listen to them. Don't know if it is actually answer your question, but in relation to young people, I think that's the best way really to deal with them. Let them flourish, let them come forward and tell us what they need from us.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. The 5 minutes was just a joke, I just was playing with you. Yeah.
Sorry?
The 5 minutes was just a joking. I was playing with you.
Oh, God. Did I say more than 5?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So, my dear Elsa, it's your turn, my dear. And then we have a special guest here with us today. Danny is here with us. Good night, Danny. Good to have you here with us. So, based on this, it's good Danny is here, because the question for you, my dear, is what's the family role in a young spiritist? How to support them? How to encourage them? How to call their attention as well? What's their role in order to form these young spiritists?
Wonderful. It's like a gardener that have to be very careful with the plants of the garden. So our children, our youth, they are the same. And Rodrigo, I congratulate you, Rodrigo, because you gave a very nice speech. You said about, mentioned that the young people in Europe, they are far from God, some of them, not all of them, because they didn't have the spiritual education when they were little kids, small ones. And our role as parents, relatives, whatever, educators, is to bring, to talk, to dialogue with the little ones in the way that they will understand. If a father passed away and the baby or the toddler or the young girl, boy, we have to talk with them in the language that they can understand, that the father or the mother or someone that they love They didn't really die. They are still alive and they starting from early ages talking about spirituality, talking about the laws of nature, the God laws. They understand, so easily they are growing up listening the Jesus, the philosopher, the great psychologist, but not as the church, the medieval church teach. In a different way today because it's openly. They can go on the internet and type in, they can find everything perhaps in the wrong way that we can share, we can give to them the right information. Don't be afraid to do that. But if the parents, they don't know, they are not spiritualists or spiritists, they can also thinking about the moral education, the humanistic education, be a good person, preparing them for the future. If they don't believe that after life, continuation of life, they can really give the moral education. Otherwise, the youth people, they will lost the way to grow up in the right pathway. They go to every part and find other things to fill this gap that we should fill in advance in early ages. It is really important. And Munir said here when he was listening, Rodrigo, our examples counts a lot. For our little children, we are heroes. Father is a hero. What the father says or does, they take as an example. So we should give the best example that we can in order to help God, to help a better world for us. Because God is giving everything for us. But we are the ones that perhaps interrupt the good things, the moral things, and go to the materialistic found that is not good for us. So we have to go to the right pathway. That means we are living beings, eternal beings. So this way is the way that to teach our children. I don't along anymore because this is a very nice topic. And one day, perhaps in a pedagogic way, we can talk about Jesus' teachings as a pedagogical way to teach us as a children of God, that we are still sometimes in darkness. Not here that people are willing accept spiritism, accept Jesus, even Muslim people they are accepting as a great philosopher. That is good the way that we can really be aware about and give more space to the youth. I wrote here that my son, many years, perhaps 6 or 7 years ago, he had a program, né? Youth Spirit, Espírito Jovem. And it was great the way that he was talking with the young people, that we should have more like that, no? Have a space for that. They can prepare their own programs and talk with each other. That's it.
That's it. Thank you. Okay, we are on time. Anyone want to add something? Charles, are you okay, my friend?
Excellent. Yes, very okay. So nothing to add. I think it's again stressing
Spirit book.
the young people are the one who will lead our world tomorrow. But tomorrow is
Yes.
tomorrow, so
Yeah.
that's very important. And I'm very happy to see how they take the things over with different ideas, different views from ours, and we really should encourage all this, change this model, the awareness of the need of sustainability and so on. So I think Socrates was maybe right, but I think they changed a lot in between. So it's very encouraging.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you for Catherine McLaughlin, Ebony Paris, Sharon Chambers, Faye. And Faye put a comment here. So many young men seem to be taken by a need of and fascination for what online friends mean. Promise of online company and the reassurance, which is so much stronger than life away from keyboard. Thank you. Munir, our friends. Good evening. Thanks, Rodrigo. It's important to talk in their language, but above all, give them examples. Great. Good. Okay. So I think we can go to our announcements. Anyone wants to add something?
No, we can
Gibbons,
use
no
media
more tea.
with the way.
Yeah, no more
No.
tea in Brighton, my dear. No, I don't think so. Jeez. Silvia?
No, thank you. I think everything was already said, and just have to be there and to pray as well for them, that they be guided, properly, and
Okay.
give good examples so they can follow us as well, because we have responsibility. So,
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's go to our announcements here. Rodrigo, are you okay as well?
Yeah, just thank you for the opportunity to be here to talk about Spiritism. And yeah, thank you so much. It's been great.
And by the way, for you guys who don't know, Rodrigo will be with us once a month, joining us in our discussion here. So he's joining the team, and we are always open. We will hope to see at least here the entire Europe in this screen here. Let's put it, people from all the countries in this Europe here and sharing this moment. That's my goal. That's my wish to this
So
show.
be it, Stevan. So be it.
Yeah, and thank you, Kardec Radio, for the opportunity given to us and broadcasting this to the basically to the globe, to the entire world. Okay, let's go to announcements. I said this many times. So next week, do we need spiritism to be saved? That's the main topic for next week. When? Wednesday, 15th of December, 9 p.m. London time. Okay. So our Time to Talk show every other Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. And the topic is Conversations on Mediumship, guided by Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas. On 11th of December, which is, by the way, this Saturday, we will have a round table with all the speakers who gave their view about the works and the stories about Leon Denis. The time changed. Now it's 4:30 p.m. instead of the previous time. So it's 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, you can watch it in our YouTube and Facebook platforms. Okay, so the newsletter 2021 from Buzz is already in the website.
Not
Full
yet.
of coloring.
Tomorrow.
It's
Okay.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Okay.
what's in the website? It's over there. What's there? Full of color. Plenty of topics to cover, because we had a wonderful 2021, even though despite of some hiccups, but we are having a great year. We are sharing the spiritism. We are among friends. We are health. We are here. We need this. Again, in April 2022, next year, we will have the first World Spiritism Month. So it's 40 countries sharing their thoughts, their view about the Spiritism, and their cultures as well. So join it. It's here. It's supported by FEAL, and it's going to be in April 2022. So stay tuned for the dates and how it's gonna be broadcasting. Okay, and that's it. See, easy today, and that's it. So easy today. Anyway, I want to say thank you, merci, gracias.
Merci
Ta-ta.
beaucoup.
Islang, my Irish friends.
Goodbye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. I wish you all
Gracias.
Good
a good
evening.
night. I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Okay, God bless.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
God
Bye-bye.
bless you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops.